You're listening to Pointing Pointers, the Point to Point podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Pointing Pointers. I'm Ben Atkins and I'm joined as ever by Sam Davies Thomas. Sam, how you getting on?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. You're looking a bit better this evening. Got a bit of a lighter jumper on, and we're a bit refreshed after not pointing at the weekend.
So we've got a big show, Sam, so we've got to crack straight on. Coming up, we are joined by Dom and Gordon and Mark from Jumping4Fun, the forum that's all about pointing. Tim and Ed Vaughan are going to be with us, and we also have a new correspondent on the road who was down pointing last weekend, getting some reaction, a roaming reporter, if you will. And we've got some results, entries, and plenty to discuss. So let's crack on. So let's recap what's been going on, Sam, since the last podcast. Well, we were at Cheltenham together watching Gina Andrews steer late night past to second in the cross country, which for any fan of point-to-point racing and then hunter chasing was amazing to watch.
Yeah, it was something out of the blue, to be honest. Not something that many point-to-point people would think about doing. Something different. It's always been a dream of Gina's to have a go in the race. And late night pass once again come up trumps and did her proud, to be honest. He had a lightweight. He's obviously in a handicap.
Yeah, I think there's question marks about whether he'd stay or not, wasn't there? But he did. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, he did. It's different in the cross-country race, I suppose. Obviously, he's got less weight as well. But you're always twisting and turning, so yeah, she gave him every chance, and yeah, no, he's unlucky. He went down well and not well in defeat.
There's plenty to discuss from Larkhill. If you're listening, Molly Landu, we wish you all the best. We've heard that she had a bit of a crash bang wallop at the weekend and has injured her back quite badly. So Molly, if you're listening, get well soon. We were talking about her earlier, Sam, cracking rider, bright future.
Yeah, she has. Yeah, she gave one a lovely ride on Plumpton the other day over hurdles. Yeah, and she got a couple of vertebrae in her back. I think she's going to be out to 6 to 8 weeks. So, yeah, get well soon. She'll be back going in no time, I'm sure.
As I say, we've had a correspondent at Larkhill this week, Sam. We've been getting a bit of flack from a regular forum correspondent, codenamed JJ. Don't know who that might be.
No idea.
No idea. About not being a certain advert for certain trainers, their sales horses and their exploits in general. So without further ado, let's hand over to our new reporter, Gnarly Roast.
Riding honours for the day went to Olive Nicholls with a double and one trained by herself with Virafly.
Yeah, no, amazing day. Very much looking forward to the rest of the season.
I'm sure, yeah. And Virafly is, won a reasonable enough ladies open. Where are we going to see him next?
I think Larkhill's a really great place for him. He seems to love it. Lovely ground, which is exactly what he wants. So probably back here again.
Great. And Shantu Flyer, an absolute legend. I mean, well, he probably knows more about the sport than we do, but it must just be a real pleasure riding him.
Yeah, he's an absolute pro. Couldn't hold on side of him today, as usual. But that's just the way he likes it. And he may be going on 14, but he's still going strong. So. And
is he going to stay point-to-pointing, or will we see him mixing hunter-chasing as well?
I think he'll probably go hunter-chasing again. I'd love to aim him for Cheltenham. He absolutely loves it around there, and that seems to be the place he does best. So.
And for yourself, you were presented with the Hunter Chase Award belatedly from last season. that must be, again, a real feather in your cap.
Yeah, no, it's been an amazing day and amazing year last year, and hopefully we can keep going this year and bag a load of experience and keep kicking.
And where are you basing yourself at the moment?
We're about 5 miles north of Lambourne, so it's a great spot. We can use all the amazing facilities there, so it's great.
And so that's with your mum, and did you spend any time down at your dad's place?
Yeah, I do 2 days a week with Dad, and then the rest of it with Mum, so hopefully learning a good bit.
Well done today, and as the rain sort of falls down, we see you celebrate with a glass of champagne.
No, thank you very much.
The restricted race at Larkhill was won by Regatta de Blanc, carrying the £5 penalty, ridden to that victory, and trained by Will Biddick. Will, this is a new partnership, the Pendle Partnership. Explain a bit more to us about it.
Yeah, so it was Rupert Swallow, the founder. He approached me in 2021 when we won the Fox Hunters at Cheltenham, and we got in touch and wanted to learn race horses, and it was always the plan from then. So 3 years on, it's coming alive now, and it's he's very fortunate. Ed Bailey's bought well. He's bought 2 lovely horses, Il Pino and Regatta de Blanc, and they've both been doing the job at the moment. So El Pino won on Thursday at Wincanton, and it was pleasing today because we're in a new facility this year, and we haven't really got a yardstick. We don't know where we're at. So she was our first runner, and we're delighted now that she's gone one.
And basically, you set a syndicate up. Ed Bailey is popping the champagne, which I take it he didn't buy that. I'd never seen him buy a round in my life. He
Must be on a good commission.
He must be. But, I mean, they've not had a loser yet. You had Il Pino, one at Chadsey Corbett, one on debut for poor Nicholls, and this mare has won maiden and 2 restricted.
Yeah, we haven't reached the ceiling of their ability yet. They're obviously well bought. They've been very easy to train, which does make a difference. And we've been able to produce them from a store, so we know them inside out and molded them, say, to fit our way. And they've been sensible, where they're trainable, very easy to deal with, which makes it puts a bit of longevity in it. You've got a bit of control at home and all that. So.
And you said this filly had progressed really well from the spring to the autumn, has strengthened up. Where is the ceiling of her ability? What's the plan?
Well, we'll see. Someone just said we were 15 seconds quicker in the Open, but I think we'll have to just check that. But it felt a good race. We went to gallop, and it wasn't a lot of let up, and I kicked on again 4 out. So, rode a good race. Where our ceiling is, we'll see. The target this year was to work back from the evening meeting in May, but maybe that will change. We'll see. But ultimately, we'll see what she's like in the morning and go from there.
There's a lot of young people behind us. Is that where the syndicate is aimed at? There's a lot of noise.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. Rupert really wanted to attract the young, 21 to 40-year-olds. We seem to be. We don't want to lose them in the sport, so this is a way to make it attractive and keep them in it.
21 to 40-year-olds, you fit that bracket.
I just slipped in, yeah. If it was 21 to 35 to start with, and I told him we had to raise it by 4 5 years.
He said we're going to have a youthful syndicate where we'll get a veteran jockey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, all about having a laugh. You can see, there'll be a loser at some point, but celebrate the good days because they're hard to come by.
Sounds like we should all be getting a leg in this syndicate because it looks like they're going to be the last car out of the car park anyway. Well done, mate.
Good man, thank you.
So, Sam, good to hear from the man on the ground there. Obviously, you've spoken to Olive Nicholls. On the day we're recording this is Wednesday. She's had a bit of a tumble herself today, but the word on the street, she's okay. It was an impressive performance down at Larkhill.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and especially to train her first winner as well and have a double on the day. So, I thought she gave Vera Flair a great ride. Obviously, he's a classy horse, but he won well. And yeah, Shantou Flyer, obviously an old favourite of everyone's. He's a horse that's hopefully taken to the big meetings as well. She looks to have really improved over the last season, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And we didn't learn a great deal more about the Pendle partnership. We feel like we've covered it pretty extensively now, but we will just say, obviously, a week with 2 winners is good in any owner's standards. But for a syndicate with 2 horses currently on the track, it has been a pretty incredible start.
It has, yeah. And I just wish our reporter would kind of watch our actual previous podcast and he'd know what we discussed and not repeat what we've already been over. But, we're very grateful for his help. I'm just going to give him a call and go through a few tips and help him out a bit because obviously there's things to say. Yeah.
And one day he might even make it to presenting the point-to-point awards if he carries on the way he's going. He did a good job.
He's been an assistant at the point-to-point awards for a couple of years now, so he doesn't do a bad job.
Exactly. So there was some other notable results at the weekend, and I believe you caught up with Harry Ryall.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, trainer obviously in his second season. He started off the season in great form, 2 runners and 2 winners. He seems like a really likeable bloke, and he's someone you want to keep on the right side of. So I had a chat with him at the beginning of the week, and you can listen to this now.
Hi Harry, welcome to Pointing Pointers. Firstly, well done today with My Lucky Star 4-year-old Bay Filly by Okavanga, who went and won the 4 and 5-year-old maiden at Larkhill. Can you tell me a bit about her, where you got her from, and what your plans are going forward with her?
Hi Sam, really good result today. Won nicely. We bought her from the Doncaster sales in May for $8,000. She was just a little bit on the weak side and needed a good summer to strengthen up. She's pleased in everything she's done. We've been pleased with so far, and the best asset is a jumping really. And there are a couple of other lads that own a bit of her as well. They're quite keen to try and get her into a sale and sell on.
Well done, that's great. It's always great when a plan works off. You obviously took your time with her, and it's obviously paid off. Just quickly going back to your first run of the season, another furler who won the restricted race under the £5 penalty at Badbury Rings. Where we might be seeing him again? Where's he likely to go next?
Another furlough came out of his race at Badbury Rings really well. We'd probably look at a race at Chaddersley, an intermediate in between Christmas and New Year, if he's ready. But he'll tell us when he's ready to run. If not, and then we'll wait for the New Year, because he's quite an exciting horse to have, and sort of pick and choose our races through the season with him. But no, yeah, very, very exciting.
That's great, and what a start to the season. 2 runners and 2 winners. Obviously last season you had 5 horses in training. You had 21 runners last year with 5 winners, which is a 23% strike rate, which is great. But you also had 5 seconds and 6 thirds, which means you only had 5 horses out of the 3, which is quite incredible really. How many horses you've got in this season? What are your targets? And could you give our listeners a couple of horses to follow if that would be good, if that was possible?
No, yeah, like you say, last year was a really good season. It was my first season training the pointers, and I was very lucky to have 5 horses that were fairly competitive and consistent. And Douglas Strongbottom ran in the Aintree Bumper, which was a nice day out for all the owners and things like that. And it's been a great start to this season with 2 runners and the 2 winners. This year I've got 9 horses in, which is nearly double on what I had last year. Obviously another furlough's an horse to keep an eye on. He was quite impressive under a penalty in a restricted last week 2 weeks ago at Badbury Rings. And probably another one I'd say to keep an eye on is I've got a 3-year-old Diamond Boy out of Poste that Jack Barber used to train and ran 33 times and was never out the first 3. He goes quite nicely, and he'll probably be ready to run end of January, start of Feb. But no, yeah, very exciting, and really looking forward to the season ahead.
That's really interesting, and one the pointing enthusiasts will remember well. Poste was a great pointer in her own right, so that's really exciting that you've got your hands on something like that. Thanks for speaking to us, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Sam, as we said earlier, this podcast can't just constantly be about Willie and Gordon. I mean Charlie and Tom. And it's nice to hear from some of the trainers that are coming through amongst the ranks. And good to hear from Harry there.
Yeah, nice. And as I said to Harry, it's interesting. He's got a 3-year-old out of Poste, who most of the listeners will probably hear. She was a great prolific pointer. And he sounds like he's going to have a lot of fun with her. She looks to be out. He said she's going to be out in January, didn't she? So yeah, that'd be exciting to keep an eye on. We need to obviously keep track of it because it's obviously unnamed at the minute. So that'll be one that people will be putting in their go
trackers. Since last time we spoke on the last episode, we have also seen Ed Vaughan ride a treble trained by Father Tim, who we Father Tim sounds like something like a
off the Vicar of Dibley.
Yeah, well, no, it sounds like Father Ted is what it sounds like actually. Now I can think of it, but
Tim.
Father Tim, I dare you to call him that in a minute. We said earlier in the season that Tim's bought plenty of horses to give Ed a good year, and I'm pleased to say they join us now. Tim, Ed, how are you getting on?
All good, thanks. How are you?
Someone else who's asked him how he is. It doesn't matter how he is, honestly, Ed.
Well, I'm in great form if it helps, lads. It's a pleasure to be joining you this lovely evening.
You're looking very healthy, it had to be said. And you must have a bit of a spring in your step after the treble down at Great Trethue Sunday before last.
Look, it was great, really. Obviously, Ed has been pony racing for many years, and we started off when he was 8, and we travelled over to Ireland. We spent 2 or 3 years in Ireland because you could ride at a younger age over there. We spent a lot of time together doing that, and the last couple of years he was a bit big for the pony racing. So I've been building up a team of pointers for him for this year to get him off the block because he was so keen. And yeah, to be honest, it was quite an emotional day, really. If I was to tell the truth, it was phenomenal. Yeah, to go and have a winner, but to go and have 3 on the day was a bit surreal. So yeah, I was proud of him, and it was a big day for us.
Well, you'll have to believe us when we were talking about getting you on the show anyway, and then the treble landed, and we said, well, you may as well do it, and now's as good a time as any. I
just wanted to talk about one, Halo de Zobo. Obviously, he was quite impressive. I just wanted to know, firstly, what the plans were for him, and where you're going to go with him now. Would he go hunter chasing? Obviously, he was a short runner for Nicholls, but he obviously stayed. I know Great Trethewes is quite a sharp track, isn't it? And you run downhill down to the last 2. But is he a horse you're going to go hunter chasing with, or stick point to point him?
I would think we will stick pointing for the time being. We'll get his confidence up as much as we can. Look, we were fortunate. Tom Malone called me and said, "Look, you ought to have this fed. He'll do a job." And he seemed to buy it quite well out of Paul Nichols's, and obviously the form was in the book. He won as he wanted the other day. Ed said, well, correct me if I'm wrong, Ed, but you felt he sort of joined in 2 out on the day, so hopefully he's a horse going in the right direction. But look, being brutally honest, I just want Ed to have sport. I want him to ride winners. It's all about winning for me, and we'll keep him pointing for as long as we can, try and get as much sport out of him as we can, and then I hope he'll qualify then for a few of the bigger hunter chases. And look, it'd be lovely to think we could go to somewhere like the Aintree Fox Hunters or the Cheltenham May meeting in Hunter Chase evening meeting or something like that. Probably the Cheltenham Fox Hunters, as you rightly said, will stretch his stamina, but 2-6 at Aintree I could see being right up his street if his jumping continues to improve as it did that day. So the door's open for anything, really. Anything can happen with me, but my main priority is giving Ed a few spins and enjoyable spins and getting a few winners on the board. So that'll be the main target for the time being.
Yeah, and obviously, Ed, you've obviously ridden it now in a few maidens now. Obviously, it's completely different to anything you've done before. How have you found the change from kind of pony racing to point to pointing, especially having horses like him just get going is great, but you've been riding maidens, inexperienced horses, obviously well schooled at home. But how have you found the change?
Yeah, it's definitely a big step up from the pony racing, and I think that the main sort of kind of basic race tactics and stuff like that is very similar. Those kind of things don't change. It's more just having your wits about you. You're going over a longer distance. You can't, be as rough and ready almost as in the pony racing. Everything's a lot more professional. And obviously trying to gather up a big gangly 4-year-old over obstacles as well is a lot harder. But no, I'm enjoying it at the minute anyway.
Your owner's sat next to you. You can't call his horses gangly.
I know, unless affluent owner now. He spent.
I've heard there's been in the pony racing years. There was a couple of bust ups in the past, so you need to be careful what you're saying to your owner. So just get steady. Won't be an Ascot racecourse, I reckon. I heard one day.
Do you know? How do you hear about that?
Don't you worry.
You do all the homework. Well,
that's a good one. He managed to get my, I think she was 38 runs unbeaten racing pony out of a Galileo mare by Aussie rules, beaten one day at Ascot. And he was only about 10, I suppose. But, from a young age, we've been quite we attacked the job, shall we say. Anyway, he came back giving me this mumbling of why the pony didn't do his race. I said, Ed, it's been fine the last 38 times, mate. If you jump out stone last, go wide round the outer and Ascot, you get beaten, you little clown. Just shut your chops and get on with it. And it was a good learning curve for him. I got a lot of frustrations out on him. And we've never had a crossword since, actually. He doesn't come out with any of that nonsense anymore.
Oh, I don't blame him. No, he's got to try his luck. And what about, there's a time, he's also had a lot of experience in the steward's room. At the age of 9, he got overturned at the point-to-point pony racing finals, and he got done up the rail. Is that right? And he got overturned. The only decision to get turned around in the pony racing. So you must be quite competitive.
Oh, definitely competitive is the right word. It was actually at Bratton Down at the end of the season, and they have their kind of point-to-point pony racing finals there, and it was actually Fergus Gillard.
Oh, he can't ride anyway, so I wouldn't worry. He's not got any better.
And he come across me with like half a furlong to go, and we battled it out in the steward's room, and I got my way in the end, which was
at the age of 9.
Yeah, I think I was 9. Yeah, 9 or 10 anyway.
He's been quite confident from an early age in how to manage things in that regard. I think that, to be fair, was a lot of the Irish pony racing. You go over there, it's like the Wild West. I promise you, it's a different world. You can see why a lot of the Irish jockeys come over and were awesome. And anyway, over there, you've got to rough it or whatever. So he's doing that from 8. So yeah, and that day in Bratton Down, I think Ed was going for the championship or whatever. And anyway, Fergus lent on him, and yeah, you talked your way into winning that one.
Yeah.
So Mark and I still get on, so it's all fine.
He's not a very good talker, that Fergus, either. To be fair, he's actually my housemate, and that's how I got that. I got that story from him. So
did you?
He gave me that. So
he's just cooked you dinner, Sam. I saw him.
Oh, that was awful as well.
And then you give him
no good at that either.
Then you give him some stick with no right to reply. It's unbelievable.
Called him from the age of 7. Is that right?
Yeah, he was actually. Yeah. My wife wasn't too impressed with my antics, but Ed was one of those. He always wanted a blink at school. He was always nagging that. Literally from the age of 3, he was always there in the bloody feed bin and whatever else he did. Anyway, we had a chaser there in the yard, and he said, Dad, let me have a school day. Yeah, grand. I said, we'll go and have a look. So anyway, thinking he'd jump a few logs and poles and the odd perhaps hurdle. Anyway, went up through a set of flight hurdles. Dad, let me up the fences. Let me up the fence. Yeah, go on. We'll have a spin over the fences then. So a 7. And I videoed it, and I thought I was a genius videoing, because I'm not great on technology anyway. So I'm there holding this phone. I videoed it. Next thing, I got knocked over by the bonnet. My wife would see me from the house going mental, saying, "You deranged. How can you allow a 7-year-old son to ride a full-size horse or a full-size fence?" I said, well, to be fair, I thought he did a good job. So when she settled down, I put it on, or someone, Abby, I think it was actually, we put it on, whatever you do, Facebook and Twitter and all that. And it went viral. It was mental. We had ITV ring us at the races it was then and things. Yeah, so it was quite good fun, really. But yeah, that's just the way he is. He just loves it.
And we said earlier on in the season that you have got quite a team of horses to go to war with this year. Is there any that we should be looking out for in particular?
I think we've got plenty to go, haven't we? Really, we've probably got about 20, I suppose, that could race in Pointe points. It's tricky with me, because some of them will be sold as the season unfolds. We never, we don't actually. I'm trying to commercialise it as well as let Ed have some winners and things. But we've got a lovely 4-year-old to come out, a horse called Joey Mone. He looks a lovely type at home. He's 17 hands, moves apart, schools well, does everything right. He's only had the one run in France over hurdles, over 2 miles. So, we don't know if he'll get the trip and things, but he looks a particularly nice horse. We've got a Galileo gelding out of a Oaks winner, which looks the part as well, which I bought out of a Godolphin dispersal not that long ago. That'll go in a bumper, but look, on pedigree, just doesn't get any better, really, by a Derby winner out of an Oaks winner in a national and flat race in upon a point. Be great fun giving that a spin. So there's a couple like that we've got, and then we've got the Steady Eddies. Then plenty from Under Rules. Ring Send John is one we'll send. Ocker John hopefully runs this weekend or next. We've got plenty of bits and pieces then to keep him busy.
And obviously Larkhill on Sunday he had a second. It was probably like going to a Plumpton on a Thursday. There was a Fergal won it. There was a Hemmings horse in there.
I couldn't bloody believe it.
And then there was you.
I know, and then and Chris Gordon was in the paddock with me, and I said to Ed, "Jesus, is literally where you say Plumpton." I was thinking more like a Fosse last 2.5 mile maiden hurdle. Actually, I didn't win. I was quite staggered. The horse I ran is a bloody lovely horse. Actually, 17 hands, lovely big 5-year-old, plenty of nice bit of form in France. And when I looked at the end, I said to Ed, "Geez, I'm not so certain we can win this." Anyway, we took our chance, and the horse a bit green and whatever. But you say that it was literally staggering. Sally Randall, partner, and Chris Gordon was there, as you said. Charlie Poste was there with the Trevor Hemmings. So, this pointing job is not so easy as everyone thinks. Winning takes, everything takes winning, doesn't it? And they're doing a great job. And I don't doubt now when, after Christmas, when we got 4 or 5 meetings on the same day and it's a bit firmer ground or whatever, when I come into my own then. But I'll 20 runners each meeting. At the moment, I've got to say, I wouldn't say it's caught me off guard how competitive it is, but gee whiz, looking at the entries at Chadsley on the weekend, God, blimey, it looks competitive, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Absolutely.
Do you think it's kind of developed in a positive way or negative way since obviously you were riding back? It was quite a while ago, wasn't it?
A little while ago, yeah, you could say that. I think I retired at 27. I'm 44 now, so look, I had 10 lovely years at the job, but it's just that we just discussing it, the quality of the trainer. It's not like it was. You could discount in any 10-runner race. You could discount 5 or 6. They looked fat. They looked useless. They weren't equipped. They weren't mentally prepared. They weren't schooled. Now everyone goes there. They're all prepared. It's like a professional racetrack with, I would say 90% of them, or certainly the 90% that I've seen in the couple of meetings we've been to. Haven't been going so much until this year, but it looks competitive, and you've got the right type of horses, and combine that then with the likes of Will Biddick, Tom Lacey, Charlie Post, and Francesca, and Tom Ellis and the likes, buying these well-bred stores, trying to almost replicate the Irish way of doing things. They bringing out some quality store horses, which in truth, like it always, if they hit the jackpot with the right one, crikeys, they could go on and win Gold Cups, let alone maidens around Larkhill. So it's a different job to when I was riding, and the jockeys are so much more prepared. They're fitter. It's just the game's moved on, isn't it? It's still a good schooling ground. I love it. I've always been a big supporter of the pointing, but it's a different gig now.
Well, it's great to have you back in the mixer, Tim. And finally, Ed, who is the better rider? Your dad at the peak of his powers, or you now?
Oh God! Well, I'd like to think myself, but you did have a good few winners, didn't you? And won a Welsh title, so I think that's definitely.
How many winners did you have, Tim?
117.
Very good effort. And how many of them did you celebrate? Because I heard you're a massive fan of celebrating, and I've not actually seen Ed do this yet. So he's obviously, thought that's probably not the best of ideas anymore. But
do you know, that was what I was most well known for? Not my inability to ride very well. It was my ability to talk my way onto riding the best horse in the race. So my celebrations after, I was known for giving a little wave on occasion. Ed's far more professional. But you laugh at this. I actually, before Ed started riding this year, I said, crikeys, this is what these punter points are all about. We'll have a little look. So I put a video on or DVD, whatever it was, of me riding my 100th punter point winner. And I got halfway through the race, I was that embarrassed, I turned it off. I said, Ed, you really don't want to watch me. So one thing I can assure you, he has far more talent than I ever had at riding. But hopefully we make a good team now for the coming season.
Well, thanks a lot for joining us, guys. That's been really good, and we'll have to get you on later on in the season and catch up with progress. But great to, like you say, have you back in the game, and well done again on that treble last week.
Thank you very much.
Much appreciated. Great to see you, boys. Great program, and we'll no doubt catch up soon.
I don't know about you, Sam, but I found that really interesting. They've clearly got some firepower, and it's good to have another competitive group in the mix, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's great that they've had a bit of success now, and as Tim says, it's competitive now. Things move forward, things change. Horses are fitter, jockeys are better, trainers are better. People obviously are going to think it's getting too professional, but you've got to move with the times, unfortunately, and that's what everyone's doing.
So I'm really pleased to say that we are joined by Don Bradshaw, who is the founder, I think it's fair to say, of Jumping for Fun, the prolific point-to-point forum, and Gordon, one of the moderators, and Mark, who is, by all accounts, a bit of a northern racing nerd, Sam. So that wasn't quite the word you used, Gordon. I'm sure it was more complimentary than that, but Mark's smiling, so we're getting away with it so far. Dom, this has obviously been a labour of love for you, and it's a really great thing for many people, and it's a brilliant thing for the sport. How did it all come about? How long has it been going, and why should everyone sign up tomorrow?
I've just had a look because I couldn't actually remember how long it was when I started. It was actually 1998.
Wow.
26 years next year, so longer than obviously you and Sam's been around for. So
I wish.
So yeah, it started off as a hobby, being a bit of an IT geek, doing it for a living. There was no presence on the internet at that point for point-to-pointing, so I went ahead and set a site up, closely followed by a forum, as the sites slowly faded, the forum seems to just carry on and on and on, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. So to sign up, I did it this week, and it's very easy. Go on the website, you join the forum. I mean, anyone who's capable of creating a social media account on any of the platform is more than capable of doing it. Fully recommend it. Really interesting stuff. There's people on there, Sam, that have forgotten more than me and you will ever know. No,
don't worry. Some of them they put it down. Don't worry, they let us know.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's it's obviously quite a forum. It's quite an old-fashioned concept now, really, because it's been, obviously there's been things superseding like your Facebooks and your Twitters and everything else, but it's a nice, easy way that most people can get on. And if I'm honest, a lot of the members, shall we say, are of a certain vintage. When it comes to fighting, and I think they like the layout and the way it works. It's not the most snazzy, it never will be, but it's a place you can, like you say, you can just register, log on, and join in. It can get lively, and there's lots of different opinions. And I would say 99% of the time, everybody behaves themselves. Mainly thanks to my moderators and looking at Gordon on this one, and Charlotte, who's not on the call as well. They do a fantastic job.
Yeah, we should definitely give a shout out to Charlotte, as you say, Charlotte Fuller, who, as you said, along with Gordon and all the others, gives you great support. And Sam, I believe you had a burning question about the Northern Racing Circuit.
Well, I was actually going to ask Mark first. Actually, 1998, the forum started. Mark, when would you think you joined the forum?
I think I joined 2015, so I'm a relative latecomer to it.
You're a newbie then.
Relatively to the forum, but I've been pointing all my life since I've been pushed around in a pram by my parents, and I've loved it ever since. So, I've really enjoyed getting into the forum and meeting people, joining into the chat, sharing our opinions of what's going on, and all that sort of thing. So it's a great way of chatting about the sport and meeting people
and going on to the state of the game, then obviously we're from the Midlands. Obviously, what's the state of the northern area at the minute?
We've Yorkshire lost a few meetings over the last few seasons, one or two courses, but they seem to work really well. The northern area and the Yorkshire area seem to work really well hand in hand together. They integrate everything well, and so over the last few years, there seems to be the crowds are great. The fields aren't what they used to be number-wise, but they're still, good, and the sport's still, very entertaining.
And any horses from up north this year that our listeners should be looking out for?
Well, the obvious one is Signed Nominee, who hopefully is going to be our standard bearer for the and maybe the big races, even up to the Fox Hunters at Cheltenham, and obviously, which is great coming from a proper pointing yard like Robin and Fiona Tate. And she did really well last season, and hopefully she'll keep progressing and do us all proud. Give us.
She got told off at the National Point-to-Point Awards for being rude about seeing nominee last year, so I can't comment. And she firmly put me in my place, so I'll keep my thoughts to myself now. And
you were wrong. I love that man, everything she does. Anyway, let's move on, Sam. And we wanted to get you guys all together and talk about what is really becoming a bit of a phenomenon and a really big success story for the forum, for pointing, and for everyone else concerned. The Hunter Chase series, which Jumping for Fun has basically underpinned, has been a great success. And we thought we'd fire a question to you, Gordon, about how that came about and how it's developing and what people can do to support it.
Right. It came about by having the competition for Hunter Chase. I've done a Hunter Chase competition, expected 20 people to enter, 80 plus entered. And because it became so popular, I thought it was time to put something back. Floated the idea by Dom, and he told me basically we'll get enough to do one. And I don't know if I can do that, but Dom done 4.
You can, it's fine. Honestly, it's fine. Like, carry on.
I thought you'd like that, Dom.
Definitely. I don't expect any better, Gordon, to be honest.
and this year we're doing 6.
That's fantastic.
And who knows, if the money rolls in, we could do 8.
Yeah, so just to clarify, Gordon, we had this phone call recently where I asked you about this. Fundamentally, this is just people that are on the forum donating money to sponsor a race in the forum's name. And so 2 things are happening. That's happening, which is remarkable in itself, in a very difficult climate, and fantastic that's happening. And also, they're being really well supported, aren't they? With seemingly the races themselves are attracting a lot of runners, which is interesting to me.
It is thanks to everybody on the forum who's contributed, not necessarily financially, but with moral support and help, and putting me in contact with the right people to talk to. I've got to give a mention to Mark's northern friend, Fiona Needham. She picked it up at the beginning and held my hand all the way through the first season and gave me all the help I required.
That's fantastic. So basically, everyone, the moral of the story is the forum, you put in the pot. Let's keep putting hunter chases into these race meetings, putting it on the map and supporting it with lots of runners, and keeping it as a key part of the National Hunt Programme.
The hunter chases are so interconnected with the point-to-point. All the ones we're doing, or most of the ones we're doing, apart from the restricted final, are grassroots.
And how do people get involved if they want to get involved?
Just giving. There's a link. I'm sure you've got it, Ben, but you can put it on the bottom of this podcast.
Thank you very much for kind of explaining a bit about the forum and the success of the Hunter Chase series. Thanks a lot for coming on, and we'll see you again next time.
And thanks for promoting this all.
Thanks very much, both here, Ben and Sam, for giving us the opportunity to come on and say about the Hunter Chasers, because the more people know about it and find out about it, the more they can get involved. And I'd also say to people who actually, if you've got a horse, you use them or you'll lose them. And that's all I want to say about Hunter Chasers, because please do support the Hunter Chasers, because if they're gone, they're not coming back. We know that from the courses, where they've gone from. So please do support your Hunter Chasers as much as you can.
Sam, are you a member of the forum?
I have. I've been a member since I was actually riding, to be honest. I used to go on there and read a lot of abuse about myself because I was very in and out. I've definitely agree that I overachieved, and the forumites used to tell me that on a weekly basis, so they kept my feet firmly on the ground. But no, I've been a member for a while. It's a go-to place where everyone seems to go on a Sunday night, get the results, get the views, as they said, and what Dom's done, and he's got all his members now and his moderators that help him. It's been great, and I'm actually amazed, not because it's not a very good forum, but how it's kept going in these kind of times, how things change, and it's still kept going, and it's kind of a go-to place for everyone. It's great, and well done to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Community is always at the heart of everything, isn't it? And that's another testament to that, really. It's impressive to see, as you say, in this day and age. So, big news. Caroline Bailey has been appointed as the new head of the PPA.
Yeah, no, it's great. And so, Alex Merriam's done a great job through some, trying times. And I can't think of a better person now. She's got a bit more time on her hands to take it forward a bit more, because she's steeped in history of point-to-pointing with the family. Her father was obviously a great jockey. She's trained herself. She's trained for years, and she's had a lot of very good jockeys come through yard. Me not being one of them, I spent 3 years there. That's where I met Mr. Bailey. That's Johnny, that is, not Gerald. I met him too. I'm not sure which was worse, to be honest. But no, Caroline's she's great. She's got some great ideas. She's very driven. She understands the sport. She understands the history, and she actually also understands how times are moving forward. She's realistic.
Yeah, absolutely. Hexham's been abandoned this weekend, so that's something we sadly can't look forward to. We can look forward to entries at this point at Chaddersley. What's caught your eye?
Yeah, it's got obviously two PPORA races, one on novice riders. Will you be venturing down there with the horse?
Let's see. It's early days, but the Chief may make an appearance. I don't want to scare anyone off at this stage, you see, Sam. I don't want to put it out there. And you don't want to
There's 24 entries. If you say you're going to run Chief Hopper and you're going to change from the blinkers to the cheek pieces, there might be a walkover. The 4-year-old race got 11 entries again. Obviously, it's been a good turnout for that. It's a good entry. Obviously, it's a great track. It's a competitive race, and it's what you expect for Chadsey. It's going to be nice ground. It's well maintained, and I just hope that we can. We've got Highway Jules entered in the mixed open, which is an interesting horse. So it's nice to see some of them, and hopefully we can avoid the frost and have some racing. Yeah,
absolutely. Fingers crossed. I was thinking I might get a day off on Saturday and end up going there on Sunday, and then realise if we're frosted.
Hannah Roach has got time leader in there as well in the mixed open with a £5 penalty.
So, any of the business, Sam, before we finish?
We were talking earlier in the week about the jockey start scheme that we're going to get Will Ramsey on, aren't we? At some point to discuss that. Obviously, without Hexham this week, that's not going to make a go this weekend. So we'll hopefully get Will Ramsey on to discuss that a bit more, won't we? At a later date, maybe in the next one after we've had a runner on that on the new scheme he's doing, which is great. A great initiative to get the younger guys started. So we'll discuss that a bit more.
Well, we like to finish on a positive, Sam, and as Clarkson would say, on that bombshell, that brings this episode to a nice close. It's been a pleasure as always, and we will speak to you again next time. Goodbye from me, and goodbye from
me.
You're listening to Pointing Pointers, the Point to Point podcast.